We're recording.
Hey, DM. Thank you.
That was the most official start we've ever had.
Hi guys. Welcome back to Hideum. It's been a while.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We've been gone for
Almost
quite a
3
bit.
weeks.
2 weeks.
8. Same as the cough.
So welcome back to Hideum. If you don't know by now, you pay attention. But I'm Reese. I'm the DM. And these are my wonderful, beautiful players.
That's gay.
So are you.
Thank you for laughing.
Okay. Yeah. No. We'll just go straight into announcements.
Sweet. Hey guys, please, tell us the summaries. I'm at a fucking wedding in the mountains. If you don't know by now,
reading straight out?
Yeah. If you don't know by now, we're a part of a small gaming community called ETNL. You can check them out on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and their site. I'm not going to say the site. Our sites again for any questions or inquiries. Twitch. I'm not going to say Twitch. YouTube, Hey Dungeon Master. Instagram at Hey Dungeon Master. Twitter at Hey DM Official. Snapchat Hey Dungeon Master. No E at the end. PayPal. I'm going to say it. And hopefully it's on soon because Danny was planning on doing that, but is currently procrastinating by going to a wedding several hours away. LMAO. There you go.
That was way too fast.
That was way too fast. I don't think anyone got that. Okay.
Wait, I want to do an announcer voice.
Can you do an announcer voice?
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Okay, what Jason was trying to say is we are part of a gaming community called ETNL, which is on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and they also have a website. And you can go there for further information. We have our own stuff, social media, etc. Our Twitch, which is where we live stream, which is Hey Dungeon Master. Our YouTube is Hey Space Dungeon Space Master. Instagram is at Hey Dungeon Master. Twitter is at Hey DM Official. Snapchat is at Hey Dungeon Master, except no E in Master. Did I say Twitter?
Yes.
Snapchat is Hey Dungeon Master with no E in
You just said
Master.
that.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
I'm so out of it. And our PayPal is we'll link it on Twitch. And our email, which is also up on screen, is heydungeonmaster@gmail.com. And Danny is thinking of setting up a Tumblr, but she's lazy, so
Hey, I have an idea.
she's also at a wedding. That costs money.
A non-paying website.
That doesn't exist. Jason, we are all broke.
I have 10 cents in the bag.
We're broke. That's why the PayPal is there.
Alright. So joining me today, we have Dylan, who plays Shin, our drow rogue. We have Jason, who plays Baz, our dwarf bard. Why are you doing that? It's intense eye contact. We have Bella, who plays Kiza, our dragonborn barbarian. And we have Jasper, who plays Tavik, our fire genocide cleric. I, blanked on all of your guys' characters for 2 seconds there. 2 weeks is too long, apparently.
Apparently.
2.5 months.
Alright.
He's gonna come back and be like, what campaign?
What?
Who are you
people?
What's D&D?
Oh god,
No
no.
hablo inglés.
Well, if Reese forgets what D&D is.
Just don't let me get into magic.
Oh god. He's gonna come back a totally changed person.
We're gonna have to be like, no.
Alright, so
Don't go into the darkness.
we left off with you guys just having arrived in Meadowhall. The kind of more lively town set in the large, vast wheat fields of Somerset. You guys had gone into the town, splitting up. 2 of you going into the Early Bird Tavern, and 2 of you heading towards a small crowd gathered around a center stage in a town crier. Do you guys remember who the teams were?
I do. Me and Tabitha will go into the thing. And
Okay,
you guys
so I'd
were going to the
assume
tavern.
we were going.
We were going to the tavern.
Okay. Wonderful.
Okay, great.
Wait, were we going to the tavern?
Yeah.
I just remember we were going around.
I guess we're going to a tavern
You
now.
guys are going around the city to get to the tavern.
Okay.
Or the crowd. Because you can't. Yeah!
All right.
Great start.
So we'll start off with let's go Baz and Tavik then.
Which one go?
Well, that's your problem.
I guess you shouldn't have made dramatic eye contact with me as you stuffed 3 pieces in your mouth.
2, but I can make it more.
Oh no!
Stop.
No, spit
Stop
out
it.
the
Oh,
gum.
I swallowed it.
You actually just swallowed it?
That didn't last long.
As I drink.
All right. So Baz and Tavik,
I am actually incapable of chewing gum.
you guys begin to push your way through the throng of citizens
I
that
have
are
a
kind
jaw
of
problem.
gathered around. Above you, slightly raised on this stage, you see a human man, kind of middle-aged almost. He's kind of wearing some normal clothing, a little bit higher end.
Do I know the brand? Is it Fantasy Gucci?
No. It's probably something that came from a tailor in town.
Okay.
It's done mostly in grains. You can see some accents of kind of a copperish color. A little bit of gold splattered around. Not too much. But he's got a nice kind of one of those poofy hats on. Those poofy hats with the feathers and stuff. And he's got a large scroll he's unrolled and stuff. And he's currently addressing the crowd. You guys approach and push your way through kind of. There's a couple of glances because you guys aren't the most normal of people to see in Meadowhall, seeing how Somerset is human dominated by far. But they let you through easy enough, and you manage to make your way kind of to the front of the crowd. The man standing up in front of you is about halfway through a spiel, and he finishes up with a small word about something to do with raising taxes on breweries in the area to help fund for a new bridge and stables. His Majesty, King Decalum, Lord of the Sunlit Fields, first of his name, Sir of the Red Osprey, Crown of Somerset, has decreed a tourney in the name of the Grand Harvest to be held 4 days hence at the Jewel of Somerset, Westhold. His Lordship, Sir Tristan Medinar, shall be attending, and all those who wish to go with him are asked to please meet at the gate tomorrow morning. The Grand Harvest Festival, to be held out in front of the Lord's house, is to begin set up tonight. All available participants are called to action to help aid in the building.
Do you want to reread that again? So I can take notes?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
His Majesty,
Yeah.
King Decalum,
Yeah.
Lord of the Sunlit Fields, first of his name, Sir of the Red Osprey, Crown of Somerset, has decreed a tourney in the name of the Grand Harvest to be held 4 days hence at the Jewel of Somerset, Westhold. Sir Tristan Medinar, Lord of Meadowhall, will be attending. All those who wish to test their skills and gain a chance to participate in his name are to meet tomorrow morning in the fields outside.
What is your writing?
Not English.
It's a mixture between French and this. I can read it.
Then he went over the Grand Harvest Festival. Begins set up tonight outside of the Lord's house. All available citizens are to help with the building and construction.
That's rude.
Kerman Seraph is wanted for questioning. All citizens with relevant information should report to Sir Lemon at the Lord's house immediately. It is of the utmost importance that he is caught. And then he kind of furls it up. Says, "That is all for the morning's news." And he turns around and he walks down the stage. And you see a couple of the town's guard. They're kind of dressed in these padded leather, green leather. They've got large horse head like helmets, all done in nice copper. There's about 3 of them with him. They all flank up behind and they help to escort him. He goes out the far end of the market.
Do I know anything about this Seraph guy? Cernan Seraph.
You have not heard of him
Okay.
before.
About Tabak?
No.
So new man. Okay.
The kind of throng of citizens seems to kind of like stay for a second longer, and then they begin to break off. Kind of, some of them going off to what it must be their day job. Some of them head towards the tavern. Some of them are just kind of going home. Some of them stay in the street and kind of talk with a couple of new friends and everything.
Didn't you say there was like shops along the street?
Yep. No, the entire market is completely surrounded by shops. There are 3 exit points. There's the road you guys came in on. There's a road that the crier had gone off towards, which you assume leads back towards the river, and the secondary bridge you guys had seen. And there's one that heads out.
Directly across from the road we were on?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there is one that heads kind of northward out towards the edge of the kind of low wooden wall that kind of encircles this place.
Okay. What kind of stalls are there?
Just some general stalls. Not a lot of them seem to be set up. It's pretty early in the morning.
How early?
8 o'clock, 7 o'clock,
Okay.
around there.
Are there any like shops like actual?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of, most of the buildings immediately surrounding are actual stores. There's a general store, there's a couple of smaller kind of antique stores or wood carving stores. There's a small, what looks like a bookstore almost. It's a bit strange. Like it's got an actual book hanging for a sign that's just kind of written on. You can't figure out what they've written on the store on the sign.
Is that place open?
There is currently a closed sign in the window.
Is any of the other ones open?
The general store is open. You can see a small human man is kind of brushing off the front stoop, and a woman is bustling around inside, kind of carrying trays of new baked pastries and such.
Tabak, do you want to come back later and like shop? Because man, am I ready to shop. Little Baz time, if you know what I mean.
I guess we can.
Did you say Baz time?
Yeah. It's Baz time. No, you're very quiet. Let me fix that.
Okay then.
No, other than those shops, there's like an inn. There's what looks to be like a small, not quite town hall, but like a gathering hall. There seems to be a small church of some sort. A couple of other just toss-up stores. A small like horse store that sells like saddles and such. Not too much of interest.
Jasper, can you speak for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Sorry, Reese.
Other than that, there's not really anything of immediate interest.
Speak.
Hello.
They're like a dog.
Speak.
Speak.
I'm not a dog.
Yeah. So there's nothing quite of immediate interest. It seems a lot of these smaller, like, just outdoor stalls are just beginning to be set up. But they seem to be carrying mostly food items, freshly baked bread, milk, stuff like that.
Is there like rock store?
A rock store? Roll me an investigation.
Okay.
There's like a small store that seems to sell, like, not mining supplies, but, like, tools and such that might be able to help with that sort of
like
stuff.
gem
But
stuff.
no, it's mostly a farming town,
Okay.
farming city. There's breweries and such, but they don't get a lot of mining down
Okay.
here.
That's okay.
Yeah, other than that. Kiza and Shin, you guys kind of make your way around the crowd. It begins to disperse about halfway through. And you finally reach the entrance to the two-story kind of greenish colored building. It's large, made of timber and stone.
Is there like colors just green? Is like the town color green?
As far as you can see, a lot of the buildings tend to hold a green, gold kind of coloring to them. Croppers and browns as well. The tavern itself is about 2 stories tall. It's got a small sign that just reads "The Early Bird," and kind of those classical Old West swing doors. And you tie the horses up to a small area along the side of the building. It's like an alleyway almost, but it's got space for a couple of horses in a wagon.
Okay.
You tie them up to the side and you need to make your way around to the front.
You looked so disappointed.
They took my gum.
Okay.
I don't want my gum.
Anyway, I guess we're going. Kiss up. I'm guessing we're going into the tavern.
Can you not look at me seriously?
No, it's very hard. You've got gum in your boobs.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Okay.
Can Kissa kick the door?
No!
Please.
I guess that's a character decision, isn't it? Will Kiza kick the door?
Is it something Kizza would do or Bella would do?
It's something Kissa would do. You put an old western door in front of them, they're gonna be like...
Okay. Yeah, so you guys make your way up the front steps of the porch. And Kiza, you step forward and you go wha and kick the doors open. And a slight woman standing behind them topples back to the floor. Her small tray with a couple of glasses goes shattering across the floor, and she goes, "Oh! Oh my god!" The doors swing open and then swing back towards you, just kind of.
Wait, okay. How old is this woman? Like,
Oh,
trying to
no.
investigate?
Like early 40s, maybe.
Oh, oh my god. I heard a small woman. Oh boy. But is she attractive?
Oh, my god!
Even or odd, call it.
Even.
She's attractive.
Apparently she's attractive.
I love how me and Taylor both yelled, "Oh my god!" at the same time.
She's a pretty plain. She's a pretty plain
She's a
woman.
plain
She's a plain bagel.
Does she have urban garlic cream cheese?
She's
She's creamy. Okay.
Oh my god, Jason!
She's a pretty plain woman.
We're gonna
She's
die.
kind of got lighter, kind of straw-colored hair, which seems to be pretty common around here. She's got a darker skin.
Darker
I want to go
skin.
and say darker tan
Darker skin.
and darker skin at the same time. This has happened a lot today. She's got a darker kind of tan, most likely from days under the sun. And she's kind of dressed in what looks to be a slight uniform almost. It's just a simple dress with a small apron on the top.
So wait, like they're like the old western doors. Is there like an opening at the top then? Like it's like
Yeah.
open at the top? Okay, I don't want to push the door open because I don't want to hit her again.
Well,
So
she's
I-
lying on the ground now.
Oh, okay.
You knocked her over.
Okay. I'm gonna like slowly push it open and be like, I am so sorry. I've seen that in like not movies, but would they have seen that in plays? I've seen that in plays, and I thought it'd be cool, and like I accidentally knocked you over. Are you good?
The woman kind of like sits herself up into her knees and kind of dusts herself off a little bit. She kind of begins to pick some of the glass up and put it on the tray and stuff. And she says, "Oh, it's not a problem. It happens every week." The doors were a terrible decision, but Reckoning doesn't want to get rid of them, so we keep them anyways. And she points over to the side of the door, like to your left side. She says, "We've even got a sign about it." And the sign next to the door says, "Beware of kickers."
Good thing there, guys.
You enter into the tavern, and it's a 2-story room. Very, very high ceilings. A kind of balcony wraps around one end.
I'm falling apart. Can you leave me alone?
I'm watching fall. It was very funny to me.
A balcony wraps around the far side of the actual bar on the top. A couple of tables and stuff scattered around. There's a staircase off to the right and a bar kind of tucked away in the left-hand corner. There's not too many people in here this morning, but there's a few who are kind of eating away at some porridge or drinking a little bit before they have to go out to the fields to work. There is no one currently behind the bar, but there is a door off to the left-hand side that is just kind of swinging closed.
Is there anyone, like, can I roll to see if there's anyone, like, of interest in the bar?
Sure. Roll me a perception check.
Of interest? I don't know, like, maybe of interest for kids. But, like, just of interest. I don't know. Leave me alone. God. 13.
There is what looks to be a smaller woman, very, very old, like maybe 80 or so, and what looks to be some sort of large red robe. And it's a very poofy thing, like there's multiple layers of this stuff. And she has what looks to be a small copper, not quite a circlet, but like a headband type thing on her. She's got one table just completely stacked in different books and maps and an assortment of papers and such. And she's currently nibbling on the end of a quill and kind of quizzically looking down at her paper. She's got a small bowl of porridge off to the side and a glass of mead, but they seem to have been untouched.
Oh my... Sorry.
Did you get that hat at Disneyland?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just realized I'm making less on top.
I almost started crying. Just said
Why?
Because I went to look down and I'm like, what do I have? Is there anything of interest that I could, like, put in front of her that she might be, like, interested in? And then I saw that, like, there was, like, a very faint mark that said unicorn horn that had been erased, and I was like, wait, in her heart. Okay, it's fine. Everything's great. I have nothing. How can I intrigue this woman into talking to me?
Just walk over and go,
Maybe just
"Hello,
talk
ma'am."
to her.
No, because Kissa isn't good at conversation. Have you met her? She literally will. She'd walk up and be like, "Hey, bitch." Okay, whatever. Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to this woman.
She doesn't glance up as you approach. She seems a little bit caught up and preoccupied in whatever her work is. But you do see that she kind of, haha, she's got one of those, like, bright moments and stuff, and she goes and begins to write some more down as you, kind of amble up to the table. Now that you're closer, you can see that the porridge has quite clearly gone cold. It's probably been there for about an hour, and it hasn't been touched at all. She is entirely wrapped up in what she's doing.
I
I
put
don't think so.
a hand on her shoulder and I'm like, what you doing?
She goes, "Whoa! Oh dear me! You startling!" I went immediately into Scottish. I wasn't even trying to. She goes, "Oh, who are you then?" She kind of adjusts a pair of small, like, very tiny spectacles. "Who are you and what do you want?"
just interested in a fellow person doing their work.
Oh, well, thanks for your interest. Goodbye. He goes back to writing. Kind of like brushes your hand off.
So you said she has like maps and stuff on the table?
Yeah, so she seems to have a collection of what looks to be a couple of tomes and books on just varying subjects. You're not quite sure what they are. A lot of them are in different languages and such. There's 2 or 3 maps, one of just the entirety of the world. There's one that's focused mainly on Somerset and Daymore. And there is one that is focused on a small area that you're not quite sure of. Like, you've never quite seen it before. You couldn't recognize it, at least at first glance. It seems to be quite zoomed in. But it does feature a small bit of mountain range. You couldn't pinpoint it, though.
I wanna... I reached to pick it up and, like, look at it closer to see.
Yeah, you go to reach it and stuff, and just lightning quick, just her hand goes out and grabs her and says, "You should ask before you touch things, darling. Don't know what they are." Waves at you with the thing. Lets go of your wrist and goes back to writing.
May I please look at this map?
Should I let her look at the map? She kind of reaches into the folds and brings out this small kind of glass sphere.
Oh,
and it
no.
seems to have...
Is it a magic eight ball?
It's a magic 8-ball.
It seems to have some sort of reddish mist in it. And she whispers in, "She worthy of the map." She shakes the ball.
Try again later.
And the mist seems to, like, shimmer back and forth, and then it condenses into what looks like a small man. And the man says, he's kind of like leaning against one side of the sphere, and he says, "What the fuck you asking me for, man? How am I supposed to know? Dude, you're the scholar. Fucking let me look at her." And the woman moves the ball so that he's kind of like rotated in your direction and stuff. And the dude goes, "I mean, worst case scenario, it burns her eyes out, right? Best case scenario, we can take her to the city." Then again, that would mean more work for me. Let me switch that around, darling. Worst case scenario, we have to take her to the city. Best case scenario, it burns her eyes out and she leaves us alone. He says, "It's your choice." She goes, "You're no help these days." Shakes the ball again, and the dude just kind of shatters into more mist. And she's, "Well, you've heard what'll happen, so if you want to touch it, touch it." And she goes back to writing.
How much do I actually need my vision?
I'd say quite a bit. You're a barbarian.
Just ask her what it's about. You don't have to burn your eyes out for this. You can use your words, honey. Words mean everything. You want me to do this together? May we please... No, will you please tell us what's on the map? You can do it, Kizza.
What is she?
I just realized Shin's probably just like awkwardly hovering by the door.
Kizza, you can do it. Come
The barmaid has like picked up the glass by now and she's moved on, kind of gone back towards the bar.
Can I like lean over her shoulder and kind of see what she's writing, or is she writing in a language that I won't be able to read?
Some of it's in a language you don't know, some of it's just kind of unintelligent rabble about some hourglass. There's a couple of notes, at the bottom that kind of catch your eye. They seem to be the ones she's currently writing out and stuff. And it is a very vivid description of you. She says, "This strange dragonborn woman." And then it goes into a description about what you look like entirely. "Seems to be hovering over my shoulder." And then she pauses and stuff and kind of looks up. She's like, "Well, what are you doing next?"
I'm glad I'm in your storybook. However, I would like to know why this map would burn my eyes?
An interesting question. That would be the answer.
Perfect.
Sorry about that.
Amazing timing.
She pulls out an iPhone. She's a time traveler.
Surprise, it's Danny.
It's Danny.
Thank you for subscribing.
Oh,
Hi, welcome.
Oh, joining us, yeah.
is that what the buzz was about?
Yeah, no, I have a subscription
Okay.
notification. I've completely
Neither
lost
am
track
I.
of what we're doing.
I mean, no, you said something about.
I said,
Why would it burn your eyes out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I asked her. I said, thank you for putting me in your storybook, and
I'm
why would it burn
blanking
my eyes
today.
out?
She kind of stares up at you and stuff, and then she pushes her chair back and she hops down on the ground, and she is significantly shorter than you thought she was. Like, maybe comes up to your boobs? Maybe? Like, she's almost as short as Shin.
Ouch! I'm only 5'7".
Yeah.
As tall as me.
She's,
Okay.
she's not quite small, but she's significantly shorter than you thought. And she hops down and she kind of looks over at you and stuff. She begins to chew on the end of her quill again. Kind of fiddles with it and stuff. And then she starts wrapping up her papers and stuff and grabbing things and stuffing them into a small bag and things. And she says, I like you. You have a taste for knowledge. A fact we both share. Tell you what, I was just about to open shop. You stop by in a couple of minutes, and I'll tell you everything you want to know about it. She stalks out the door with her papers and stuff.
Cool. Anyone else interesting?
No, there's a couple of farmhands and such, but mostly it seems to be kind of an empty bar right now.
Yeah, I go back to Shin.
You guys are at the doorway.
Yeah.
This is like a really.
We
nice
gotta go to
Sims
the
game.
shop. She's gonna tell me about this map that's gonna burn my eyes out.
Okay.
The barmaid at this point, she comes back around and she's gotten rid of the tray of glass and everything. She kind of goes, all right. Can I get you guys a table? Couple of porches. We've got some leftover mutton from last night if you're interested. Rehenin makes the best grog in town. Stock's the best grog in town. Sure. Yeah.
Are we hungry?
Do you have money?
No. Maybe? Yes?
I only have 6 gold.
Oh my god, you guys are supposed to put the horses alone. I should have given you money.
Baz, you and Tabak are out in the street still.
Okay, yeah.
You've kind of like, you saw them pull in and then Kiza do her weird door stunt. You didn't see what happened inside. But she disappeared in afterwards. Shin's been kind of like leaning against the door frame for a bit. And a small woman in a
I'm, like,
large
leaning
red
at her.
robe carrying a bunch of these papers and like a overstuffed bag comes out and she begins to make her way
Is
across
she
the market.
taller than me?
Yeah, she's taller than you.
How tall?
She's like 5'8". She's just taller than Shin.
Okay.
She makes her way across the market and into that small bookshop you had seen earlier. And then
She's my friend.
Kiza Kiza reappears in the doorway, and then her and Shin talk for a second before they turn back inside to a slighter-looking woman on the inside that seems to be talking to them.
Tabak, that's the store I want to go into. Looks like they're open for business.
I suppose we can go to it.
Okay, I don't know a lot about books, so like, do you?
I've read quite a bit.
Sweet, help me to read. Let's go. And we're gonna walk to the bookshop.
Can't you read?
If you need help reading, then I'm not helping.
Because I have attention span problems. I'm like, wow, I'm shiny.
So the shop still seems to be closed. The sign hasn't been flipped or anything, but you can kind of see there's like some windows. They're kind of like not clean or anything, but you can kind of see into the shop. The woman is kind of bustling around, putting books on shelves and pulling books off shelves and stuff. She's just kind of sorting.
I'm going to stand here until it opens up. I don't know if you want to come with me. Anything pique your eye?
Did I see anything interesting in the market, Reese?
Nothing too exciting. There's the tavern that your friends are in currently. There's the bookstore. There's a general store. Sorry.
Are you having English problems?
I always have English
I'm
problems.
just calling random today.
There's a general store and a couple of like farming tool sort of things.
I
Stores.
think this means shut up.
Nothing too exciting though.
Shut up. Okay, go.
I'm fine with waiting until this store opens then.
Sweet.
I'm gonna wait until it opens.
I think I just realized we have no money.
Okay, yeah, you guys kind of like settle down on the stoop of the store.
Do you... Hey, Tabitha. I realized I have all the money. Do you think they have money for the horses?
I'm sure they'll figure out something.
Sweet. Thank you.
Stay here. Wait.
Okay, so where's a bank?
No!
I don't think a bank is gonna help us. Do you want to take out a loan?
No, I was gonna rob it.
No!
Actually, that sounds like a great
No!
idea.
Okay, where's a bank? Is there a bank?
Oh, I didn't mean that.
Make me an investigation roll with disadvantage.
Damn it.
Because you guys are just kind of sitting in the
Well,
Dang it, I got a nat 20.
I'm making investigation, so that's a 14.
9.
There doesn't seem to be like a bank of any sorts.
Can you just like move your hair? No. Down.
Has your hair grown longer?
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
It's
it
like-
tends to be what it does.
Your
It's,
hair
it's like
also-
all over the place.
Your hair was like,
It's fine now. It just like beforehand, it looks like you.
It was like poofed.
Yeah.
I'd offer you my hat when my hair's worse.
There doesn't seem to be like a bank in the city. You can
Just the
probably guess that seeing how it's a smaller town more so. A lot of people just kind of keep their coin on them or stored in their homes.
Sorry. I'm just laughing at the idea that Shin and Kiza are like, we have no money, and they both individually think, well, we could rob a bank.
Well, I mean, I technically have a bit of money, but
I have 6 gold, so it's technically enough that I could maybe get food.
Well. I have a lot.
You have a lot of money. We may be best just to go meet the others wherever they are.
You guys can see them. They're not like too far away.
No.
They're just kind of sat on the stoop. It's difficult to miss.
I'm trying to get Tabak to like, you know that thing I always do where I'm like, I play the hand games?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him to do that.
He's not cooperating.
Come on, my kids taught me this. Come on. Stella, Ella, oh.
No.
okay, so do we want to go over there?
Maybe. We should probably grab the horses, hey?
Are the horses still there?
Yeah, they're just sitting
Okay.
in the alley. You guys tied them up to a like a post and hitch.
Yeah.
Can I roll to see if there's anything interesting around?
Sure. Roll me a perception check.
Nope. Can I roll again?
No?
No.
That's
I'm
a
rolling again.
20 with modifier.
My life.
So
20 with
just
modifier?
see if there's anything of interest around.
Yep. There's the bookstore.
Yeah.
That you guys noticed now. That your two friends are sat outside of currently. There's a general store.
The
There's a
same
couple
stuff.
of tool places.
Antique, weed,
There's an
book,
antique. There
general.
seems to be. You guys can kind of see just over the slope of kind of the northern facing kind of northeast area.
Mhm.
Those shops on those side, you can see what looks to be a couple of taller buildings off in the distance.
Yeah, but there's nothing other than...
Nothing too exciting you can see. In the
Yeah.
area
I
currently.
wrote down weed. There's no weed stores.
No.
Why did you write
Why
down
I wrote
weed?
down weed?
Just because you're metallic doesn't mean you're gonna find weed.
Stop!
Weed will always lead to weed.
No!
Are we going to over to meet them?
I guess so.
Okay. I'm guessing the lady is still, like, standing beside us after asking.
Yep, she's just kind of waiting patiently and stuff. Like,
I guess I'll turn to her and just kind of go, we have to go meet our friends at the moment. Sorry for being of a bother.
well, it's not a problem. You can stop by. We run all day, except for the night.
Okay.
Wait, don't. Okay, sure. Okay.
It's a tavern that doesn't run at night.
The Early Bird Tavern.
It's an early bird.
Okay. Well, okay, we go over. I
Okay,
guess
so you guys turn from the door. What's your guys' passive perception?
mine or
16.
16?
13.
13. Okay. You guys are turning and stuff, and you catch sight of the door to the back of the bar swinging open again, and you're not quite sure what it is. It looks like a big bird. Okay? First off, it looks like a giant bird. He kind of like comes stumbling out the doorway and everything, and he's talking over his shoulder, and he's got a couple of like wine bottles grasped in his hand, and ducking through the door behind him comes a large Goliath man, and he's holding a large keg, and they're talking quietly and stuff, and just as you guys turn, you see them in the back. A couple of the farmhands and stuff wave at the bird man who enters and stuff, and then you guys are out. The woman turns and begins to make her way back towards those two. You make your way across towards where Baz and Tavik are currently sat in the stoop, and you stand around with them.
Why are the horses here? Weren't you guys supposed to, like, tie them up at the tavern?
We left them at the tavern, didn't we? Or did we bring them?
Did we bring them?
You said you brought them.
No, we just said that we went.
They checked that they were still there.
Yeah.
We just checked that they were still there.
Did you guys... Erase what I said then. Did you guys tie the horses up? Did you put them in the stable at the tavern?
No, we just left them to run around.
Why the fuck did you do that? Did you ask how much it would be?
Yeah, the horses are having fun. They're running around. They're playing with the dogs.
Did you ask the innkeeper how much it would be to store horses there?
Yep, they said it would be 1 Baz.
Shin,
Yes?
did you ask the innkeeper?
Well, as I said before, we definitely didn't tie the horses up, so
Why would we ask the innkeeper?
why would we ask the innkeeper if we weren't going to tie the horses up?
Can I like see if the horses are tied up from this distance?
You can kind of see into the alley, the like edge of your guys' cart. You can't spot the horses from here, no.
Fuck's sakes. What?
You stay here with these idiots. I'll be back. I'm gonna go pay for the fucking horses that these lunatics forgot to tie up.
Don't cause a scene again.
Okay, I'll walk off like an angry dad that I am.
Alright, so the three of you guys are left as Baz kind of stomps his way across. Are you going towards the horses or into the inn?
Horses, the super fucking horses are
Okay.
there. And then going into the
So you head over to the horses and stuff in the little back alley and stuff. They are currently tied to a hitching post. The back of the cart is open.
Oh!
You can see what looks like the back of someone as they're rummaging through your guys' stuff.
Excuse me!
There's a
Through our
pause,
what?
and then like the person begins to slightly like crouch down
I
further and
know.
continue rummaging.
I can still see you.
There's another pause and it goes even further.
No.
And it like disappears underneath the edge of the cart. And the rummaging continues.
I like shake the cart.
There's a small shout. Ah!
Why'd you have to do that, mister?
Cause this is my cart.
Pop out from inside of the wagon comes what looks to be a small human boy. And he's got kind of like peasant-y garbs on and stuff. He's got a small hat that's like crooked on his head and stuff and a large buck tooth. I was like,
What'd you have to do that for, sir?
This is my cart, young boy. Can I help you?
This
with
is
anything?
obviously not your cart. This is my cart. I found it, which means it's mine.
Me.
I can yell for the Crown's Guard, you know.
Jason.
Yeah. He's a child, I know.
Jason, where did you get Crown's Guard from?
Oh,
Yeah.
no. I thought of Critical Role for 2 seconds.
He goes, I don't even know what those are, mister, but this is my cart.
I'll yell for the guards.
I hope these guards
I'll yell for Matthew Mercer.
The guards are gonna take my side since it's my cart.
And he's like standing on the lip of the cart now, like he's hopped up onto the side and he's like balancing quite vertically. And there's a swing of a door. And stepping out comes a large Goliath man. And he like turns and he sees the like face off you guys have got going on and he goes,
Timothy, what are you doing?
I love them.
Is this your son? Cause that's my cart that he's rummaging through.
the Goliath turns and says,
No, he's my employee. Timothy, you're not supposed to go through people's stuff.
and the little boy goes,
But it's my cart. I found it.
he goes,
That's not how it works.
he goes,
Fine.
he jumps down off the cart next to you and stuff, and he kind of goes, and he's like
I
an
do it back.
inch shorter.
I do it
He's an
back.
inch taller than you. Like,
I drew it back and I
and he turns away and he's like making faces at you as he like stalks back towards
doing
the
the
thing.
same thing.
He
I was
goes,
like,
I'm so sorry for that, sir. There's honestly, I will make sure that the Lord does something about him. He's been a pain lately.
is this the child or the Goliath?
The Goliath.
That's the voice for the child.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry. I will make sure that he gets the proper beating he deserves.
Why don't you just, like, talk to him?
Timothy doesn't listen to words. Isn't that right, Timothy? And Timothy goes, fuck you.
He goes,
And that's no way to treat your boss.
Okay, understandable. Just make sure he doesn't do it again. Wait, Timothy. Empty out your pockets.
Timothy goes, and he begins to pull your guys' shit out of his pockets.
Can I just say, Shin definitely has his stuff on him. Because Shin's a
Same with
rogue.
Tech.
I put the 132 scones, 234 other muffins, and 1 hot scone that thing. I'm gonna drop all of them fucking there.
You know, he's pulling your guys' stuff, and unfortunately, you guys have all left your things in the cart, unless you say so prior to doing so.
Oh.
I just said I
So,
had my fine.
he's just, he's pulling out your thieves' tools,
no.
he's pulling out, I don't
'Cause
even know
remember
what
I
you've
said-
got on you, man.
Reese, I said before, if Shin ever leaves the cart, he takes his stuff.
Okay, fine.
'Cause-
He's pulling out thieves' tools from nowhere. He's pulling out, I don't even know what shit you've got, Kissa, but he's pulling it out of his pockets.
Heels.
Yeah, he's got the heels coming out of his pockets. These are like small pockets too, and he's like pulling out Mary Poppins. Right? And he's like, There's a small pile of stuff in front of him.
Call for Kissa. Call for Kissa.
Thank you. Any secret compartments that you've hidden anything in?
No.
Timothy. I hope your name is Timothy.
I hope your name is Timothy.
Can we see Baz from over here?
No. He's kind of
Okay.
past the cart.
Did we hear the ruckus?
It's not really a ruckus.
No, it's
not
just
over
like
not over the
talking.
bustle. It was just kind of them talking in the back alley.
I look at the Goliath like, whoa!
He has my stuff still.
Goes,
Timothy, give the man his stuff.
Timothy goes, I gave him his stuff. This is my stuff.
Not to be rude, Mr. Goliath man, but I don't really trust your boy. Could you make sure that it's his stuff and not my stuff?
And the Goliath leans over and he picks the kid up by the collar of his shirt, grabs the buckle of his pants, and goes, begins to shake him out. And the kid like flies up and he holds the hat to his head and he goes, and nothing falls out of his pockets except like a spoon.
Right, and he's like, I told you I didn't take anything else.
Your hat.
What about it?
Take it off.
Why?
I want to make sure you're not hiding anything.
Not.
I will give you 1 silver to take off your hat.
Money first.
I don't trust the
give
kid.
him 1 silver.
Okay, he pulls off the hat, dumps out 4 scones, puts the hat back on, and says,
Nice doing business with you, Minnie.
pockets the coin, and turns around towards
Take
where you
my
see a
fucking
second
silver.
cart has been parked with a couple of barrels in the back. And the Goliath says,
Terribly sorry about that, sir.
It's fine. I'm Baz Ben Ham Benquin, owner of the Benquin Mining Service. How may I help you today?
Well, I knew that, but you can't help me.
Oh, you know me.
Yes, we've met.
Oh? Have we?
Yes. Don't know if you remember me. You're the reason I'm out of a job. The name's Al.
Sorry, what?
The name is Al, and you're the reason I'm out of a job now.
What happened?
roll me a history check.
Oh, fuck me in the ass.
What did you do?
Got fucked in the ass.
What did I tell you not to do?
Get fucking me.
No,
Is that
that's a
one?
crit 1.
Okay, you remember an Al from your time traveling in Nazar? He was a fire pit trainer.
Sorry, I really don't remember. Could you say, like, tell us the entire story? I assume I know nothing. 'Cause I rolled a 1.
I'm sure you don't know anything. You didn't pay much attention when I was there.
I'm sorry, I didn't. Please, continue. I will. Just tell me everything. I'll try to reconcile.
He kind of like sighs and he crosses his arms and says,
I'm Al, the guard for the dreadful drunk. You're the reason it got burnt down and I'm out of a job. And he says, if you excuse me, I have some more deliveries to make.
and he turns around towards the cart and he begins to climb his way on and turn the horses to exit the alley.
Ah,
I'm sorry. Anything I can do?
I think you've done enough.
And he rumbles out into the street and turns left towards the north side.
I even pick up all the stuff, like throw it in the cart, close the cart up. I don't know.
Does he go
Make
down
sure.
like the street that we're like standing on?
He like exits out and you guys see him from across a thing as he turns and goes towards the northern road. You guys are kind of here's my markers.
Is it one? Oh god, an L or
Okay.
20?
20 L's?
I don't know.
It's actually 26.
Sorry.
This is kind of the stand in the center, right? There's a road leading north, a road leading towards the way you came in, and a road leading over here. And there's shops along these corners. You guys are kind of sat here. The inn is about here, and the alley is kind of off to the side. He went out that way.
Oh, so my thing was kind of right.
Yep.
Sweet. So yeah, I pick up all the stuff. Fuck. Yeeted him. I put all the stuff in the thing, and then I'll walk into the tavern.
Okay, yeah.
I don't kick it.
Yeah, okay.
I kind of like I look. Is there a sign on the outside or the inside?
There's a sign on the inside that reads "Beware of kickers." There's like the early bird sign on the outside.
Okay, I'm just like, so we're kicking it, like punch it open. I've seen this in plays before.
You punch it open. There's a started bit of a yelp from inside. You see the woman, the same bartending woman, kind of stumbles to the side, catches herself.
That's number 5.
I'm so sorry, ma'am. I didn't pick the door.
Happens every week.
She points to the right side of you. There's a sign that says "Beware of punchers."
There's 2 type of people.
Sweet. Sorry. I'm looking to house my
Wagon?
Horses?
Horses?
Thanks.
The living
Four-legged
things.
animal.
my animals, the horses, 2 horses and a wagon that I have. My 2 dumbass friends came in here before and didn't ask about it. One was like super tall, the other was like kind of tall, taller than me. One was blonde, white hair. Don't remember. One was a lizard.
Oh! The kicker.
Oh, was that Shin?
No, the lizard.
Oh,
Is the lizard Shin?
I was about
Is
to
the
say, how
lizard
does she
Shin?
know?
I don't know.
No.
The lizard.
okay.
Yes, if you want to house animals, you're gonna have to take it up with Rahinan.
Right.
And she points over her shoulder to where a large birdman is currently pouring a glass for a farmhand at the bar.
Oh, the Birdman.
He prefers Eric Cochran.
Eric Cochran? Okay.
I'm thinking Eric Cock.
Not at all how that's spelled. Go
I don't
ahead.
know how it's spelled, and it's
Please help him, Jill.
I can't remember
I'll
exactly how
walk
it's
over
spelled,
to
but
the
I'll
Eric
Google it.
Okay, yep. He's got like a busboy cap on. And he's kind of like a gray feathered man.
Okay.
A large bird, kind of. He's whistling away without like actually moving his beak.
Yeah.
And he's got an apron on and like some clothing and everything. He's a big birdman, but he's dressed like a normal person, right? And he's kind of just pouring a drink and stuff. And he looks over and says, "Hello."
Hello. I'm Baz Benham Benquin, owner of the Benquin Mining Service, and I am looking to house my 2 horses and a wagon.
Well, it's really nice to meet you, Mr. Baz Benham Benquin, owner of the mining family. That's
Mining
amazing.
family.
The mining business. That's amazing. You know, my name is Rahinan. I'm the owner of the Early Bird Tavern. As you can see, I am totally happy to help you with those horses.
Thank you. I am totally happy to wait for you to help me with these horses.
Beautiful. Give me 2 seconds and I'll be right with you, Mr. Man.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Birdman. Eric
No. And he turns away and he continues to pour the drink and stuff and he cleans it up and stuff and he puts it away and everything and he comes back over and he's kind of rubbing his hands together. They're like taloned hands and stuff and he rubs them together and stuff. He says, "Wonderful, how many horses, how big's the cart, and anything else I can help you with? We have drinks, food, entertainment."
I have questions. I'm not going to say how many because Jason might think of more. 1, the horses are like bigger than me. They go really good on the trails. 2, the wagon, bigger than me. How big is the wagon?
I think it was 4 squares.
It's a pretty big wagon.
It's a pretty big wagon. Number 3, what kind of entertainment? Number 4, you looking to hire for entertainment for one day purpose only?
The man kind of goes, "Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'll get, He talks very fast. I have to think very fast. "I'll get Arlo right out there to get your guys' horses and wagon checked out, and we'll ring you up. Any food I can get you as well, or just nothing there?"
I'm fine.
Awesome. Okay, we'll handle that later then. Definitely get you on the list. Entertainment, we've got a couple of people, a couple of jugglers, a couple of bards, you know, the stick. We're going a little bit low because the festival's coming right up, but we're always looking for a little bit of a new hire for the night. We don't actually play in the evenings though, so if you want to play tomorrow morning or at lunch today, you're welcome to.
Sweet. By people, do you mean lady favors or people who can perform musically or acrobatically?
If you're looking for lady favors, you're looking in the wrong place, Senio.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I'm not. Maybe.
Oh my god.
Alright. Maybe.
Thank you. Forgot your name.
Random.
Rehan.
R-A-H-Y-N-E-N. R-E-H-Y-N-E-N.
Okay. That's the wrong way to spell it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Thank you. Do I pay you now or do I go outside?
Well, I'll get Arla to check you up for the veil and everything, and we'll get you paid up right in a second here. Other than that, if you're already on the list for lunch performance, tomorrow morning performance, what's your time slot, man?
I'll do lunch today, and I do this.
And I take out my fucking 20 guitar and I just play like
Make a performance check.
Sweet! Ah! I love these.
It would have been funny if it was a nat 1.
19.
He goes,
Wait, that's a 20. I forgot to count my finger.
that's a sick tune, Mr. Man. I can get you in for our lunch slot right away, man. Give us about 2 hours and we'll get you right up on stage there. And he points to his left, where there's a small stage underneath the staircase, and there's like a half-drunk man who's like, he looks like he's been there since the day before, and he's kind of like pulling at a small, like, not fiddle banjo, but like most of the strings are snapped, so it's just the one string he's plucking over and over again.
Oh, he's...
Yeah, Carlos has got a little bit to work on, but you know, he's the best we got right now, with the festival coming up and everything. Anyways, can I help you with anything else, man?
Do we want to stay the night? Are we staying the night, guys?
We plan to just like quickly stop here and then go because we're running
No,
out
I'm
of
just
time.
holding my horses for the day.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Alrighty-o. Arla, can you check out the wagon and the horses in the back, please? We need a ring up for the man in the man-size suit.
It's not a suit, but thank you.
Everything's a suit if you wear it correctly.
Oh god. Okay.
And you see Arla from the other side of the bar where she's kind of like juggling 2 trays full of drinks. She goes, "Get right on the bus."
I heard you say get right on the bus. What did you do?
Getting right on it, boss.
Oh, okay.
She begins to hand out the last of the drinks and stuff, and then she kindly drops out of the saloon, out of the tavern, and out onto the alley. You guys see the barmaid come and stuff. It's been a while. The lady has disappeared from inside. She seems to have gone into a back room or something. But you can see what looks like a very small man moving around inside, moving things around and everything. But yeah, Arla comes back after about a minute or so and stuff and says, "We've got 2 draft horses. Thank you. I was wondering what the word was. We got 2 draft horses and a large wagon, sir." And Rehinan goes, "Wonderful, thank you, Arla, for all that decent, lovely help you've gotten me." He begins to, like, fiddle in the air with the dragon stuff. That'll run you 5 silver pieces for the night.
The day.
The day.
The day.
How long?
After lunch, probably.
Wonderful, that'll run you 3 silver pieces for the day.
I will, like, as I do this, kind of, like, snap and throw one, snap and throw one.
He catches them, snaps.
Sweet, I love
Like,
this band.
"Thank you for your generosity." And he juggles them and then pockets them in a thing. And he's like, "Anything else I can help you with, my man?"
No, I'm gonna leave now, and I, like, do this up the door.
You stumble over a table, but
Oh,
like,
fuck. Oh.
you make it out.
Okay, good.
And he goes, "See ya at lunch, buddy-o!"
Yeah.
And I'll make my way over. Are they still standing there?
Yep, they're still sat out in the porch.
As I'm looking from across the whole way, I'm gonna be like,
You dumb fucks! I got it done!
You hear Paz. You see him, like, back out. He's, like, making finger guns, and he, like, stumbles down one of the steps and, like, turns around and he goes, "You dumb fucks!"
and I'll waddle my way over.
Yeah, you waddle your way over. So you guys spend about 10 more minutes out here. It's been about half an hour since you had left the tavern, originally, Kiza and Shin. And you guys are getting a little bit annoyed with waiting. When finally there's a small ding from a bell, and the sign gets flipped over to open, and the door is unlocked, and the shop is now open.
I walk in.
I walk in.
Go in.
There was a small halfling man sitting behind the counter. He's currently reading a small, like, pocket book, and he looks like very. He's totally unconcerned.
I am immediately going to look for any books on yet.
Investigation.
Sweet.
Can I look for the lady?
Investigation.
Nice.
So investigation.
There's like a travel book on it.
Hey, seeing as I
I'll flip through that.
It just describes kind of like the
How new is it?
different. It's pretty old.
Okay.
It kind of describes a couple of the different dwarven cities around you. It's kind of one of those like fantasy destination for vacation. One of those things.
kind of a weird thing. There wouldn't happen to be like a Dwarvish for dummies, would there?
Oh my god!
Roll an investigation for me.
I love you so much.
That was a
With
nat 20.
advantage.
That was a nat 20.
Oh shit, you don't even need it, man. There's like an entire section that's just Dwarvish. And it's got a volume of about 4 volumes. Dwarvish for Dimwits.
I love you, Dylan, so much. You made me so happy. Did you even bring it?
No.
Oh shit.
Actually, no, I do have it.
That was worthy of an inspiration.
Yay.
Kiza, what'd you get for the red?
13.
13.
I have it.
You can't see the woman anywhere around,
I don't have
but there
money
is
for
a
that, though. I
small
only have
red
6 gold.
door kind of sat at the very back past a couple of the stacks of books. It's a bit of a maze, but you do manage to find a small kind of door that is slightly ajar.
Can I go in there?
Yes, you push in. It's a small office, and the woman is currently sat behind a desk, hidden behind a couple of stacks of books and stuff, and writing.
I'm so sorry.
She looks up as you enter and stuff. She goes, "Well, it's good to see that you found your way here, at least." Can't remember her face.
I love how you don't even remember what your freaking notes said.
I know the gist of it. I don't remember what exactly I said. Also, I don't know where the
Well,
fuck
it's gonna
language-
take you time to learn.
Yeah, it's gonna take me time to learn. Jason, I'm not gonna know it today.
I just don't want to know what it says.
Okay.
I don't know what the language
I was
is.
so confused why the sheet I was looking at only had 19 hit points. That's Tadre's sheet.
You looking at Tadra the entire time?
What? No.
You
Ta-
can play as Tadra.
No. If
You shit ticket.
if I
Took
was
it away.
if I was playing as Tadre, he has a +3 to investigation instead of a +1.
Okay, yeah, no. She kind of goes back to her writing and stuff. She's like, "Take a seat."
Is there a chair?
There's a couple of stacks of books you could sit on, but like,
I don't want to
Probably
break
wouldn't advise
books.
that.
I'm gonna sit on this ground.
it's like interesting choice. What can I help you with?
What? Oh, words. Frick. You said you'd answer any of my questions?
Sure, that's what I do.
Okay. First of all, What are you?
Well,
Oh my god, because you can't just ask people who they are.
well, darling, my name is Tamara,
Is this gonna take
and
a while? Because I
I
have
am
to go
a
to the
Red
washroom.
Scholar of Truvari.
Okay. My next question is, what are you doing all day today?
Mainly work. Depends on what happens now.
Okay. Where exactly did you get the map?
Ooh, dearie. That would be Elv.
What?
Elv! She reaches in, she grabs the small little ball.
Oh,
She
okay.
shakes and says, Elf! And he's like, what? What do you want?
I wave.
Ah, fuck this chick again. Blows himself back into the closet. She goes, oh, that's no way to greet a guest. Puts it back.
Okay. Why did he give it to you?
Well, that's what he does. He gives me things, and I figure out what they mean.
Is there any way I could help in figuring out what it means?
I doubt it. Unless you want to go study.
I mean, I'm not that smart, but I'm really strong. I might be able to do something with it, like rip it.
Oh no, dearie. Ripping things like this is never going to end well.
Why would it burn my eyes out?
Well, knowledge isn't always meant for the same people. You know.
Okay, so does that mean that if I look at it when I'm not that smart, I'm gonna die? Or does that mean, like, I might be the next chosen one, and when I look at it, it's going to be majestic?
No, it just means sometimes the scroll decides who gets to read it and who doesn't.
Do I risk picking this thing up? It's an interesting map. I want to know. But, like, also, I don't want to lose my vision. That would really suck.
How curious of everything is Kizzo?
Well, because, like, Kizza's trying to, like, kind of, like, she's trying to be smarter. So, like,
Trying.
keyword trying. So, like, she's kind of having this mental battle in her head right now, like, I mean, I could pick it up and just be like, what's this? Or I could also not do that and not risk losing my vision. Oh boy. Okay. I'm trying to think of any more questions I could ask that would be helpful. Alv is his name?
Elf.
Alv.
E-L-V.
Where did you get Alv?
Same as any red scholar. The Hourglass City.
What's the Hourglass City?
Okay.
She digs through her piles and she grabs a small pocketbook of about, like, barely legible size. Like, it's tiny. You could fit it in, like, a strap. A small pocket and stuff, and it's red leather-bound kind of book. She hands it over and she says, here's the thing. You're not a scholar. You're not a red scholar. Which means I can share my information with you. But I can only share a bit. It's your choice which you'd rather know about.
What are my options?
She waves one hand to the little red book, and she waves one hand to the small map.
It's up to you.
Don't look at me. I don't know what this is about. Just
Yeah.
because I want to know.
How much of a curious person is Kizza?
Very.
And what's more important to her?
Scholars or the map? Yeah, but like, she's also. Oh, this is such a hard decision. Frick. Roll a die. Okay. Which one's even? Which one's odd?
Even map odd book.
Everyone's good with that?
Yeah.
Odd book.
So does she just have the? Because it just has the book in her hand, like the really tiny book.
She's holding it.
Oh, okay.
So you reach out and grab the book and stuff, and there's like a tingling in your fingers, like pins and needles almost, and you flip the cover open, and a slight burn begins, and it spreads from your fingers up your arms into your neck, and glosses over your eyes, and they go white for a second. And there's a flash, and you see the room, and the woman is standing behind the desk. But now the red robe she had been wearing before have elongated into what looks like a large red, not dress, but just this flowing silk that's kind of whipping around, and this wind, almost. Pages and books are beginning to fly around the room in this huge circle. Her eyes have gone black entirely. The circlet, or like headband, has formed into what looks like a small helmet. And she's holding the little red ball, and she crunches it, and the red mist begins to seep out, and your eyes begin to glaze over. And you are standing in the middle of a desert.
Oh boy, what have I done? Okay.
And it's a bit weird because you can see kind of like dunes around you, but you can't see past those. It's like it ends. It goes from dunes to like static almost. And you can see the sky above you and the ground beneath you and everything, but it seems like at a certain distance it just fades. There's just nothingness. And you can't actually see the sun, but you can see as the light begins to dim and darken, and like flip into night, and there's a slight rumble beneath your feet, and suddenly you are rising on top of what looks like a huge circular stone tower, and the beginnings of a sprawling city begin to stretch out beneath you. There are silks that stretch from building to building, covering these large walkways that all seem to stem out from this tower in the middle, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow. You see these large archways at the end of each of the 7 spokes off of this large tower that seem to glitter and glow, and people begin to appear in the entrances and walk it through. And it is unbelievable how big this place is. It seems to cover the entire desert. And there is a heavy smell of spices and animals and people and all these different scents that seem to mix together. And over top of all of this is the heavy, heavy presence of just magic. And you have felt magic when spells were cast by, like, Charlotte and Tabak or Baz. When they cast spells, there's always a little bit, like, a hint of ozone or something. A little bit of a layer over top. This is like you're walking through water.
Okay.
And you're standing on top of this tower, and it continues to grow and grow and grow and grow, and suddenly you realize that you're getting closer to hitting the top of the sky. And with a you are flattened, and your eyes go, and you're back in this room, and the woman is exactly the same. The room is still calmly leveled out, the books and everything are fine. She's sitting behind the desk and looking at you. She begins to write papers. And the book is open before you, and totally blank. She reaches over, and she closes the book. She grabs it again. She says, "That's all the knowledge I can give you for now." goes back to writing.
I say thank you, and I nod my head, and I just leave.
The door closes behind you.
I'll go up to the guy at the front and ask if he has any new books about Yakin.
Okay. The like halfling lifts his head and he's reading what looks to be a small book of poetry.
Is it fantasy Edgar Allan Poe?
It looks kind of sad.
Oh.
It looks like a lot of depressing, sad poetry. And he looks up and he says, "Hi, I'm Thereg. What can I help you with today?"
Hi, I'm Baz Ben Banquet of the Banquet Banks Company, and I was wondering, do you have any new books on Yakin, like the things that's been going on down there, the news?
No. If it's not in the Dwarvish section, we don't have it.
You have a Dwarvish section? I think I rolled like a 1.
He points over to where Shin is currently standing in front of a small section of like shelves, maybe like 4 or 5 of them that are kind of filled with some larger books. Kind of glance over just kind of mining techniques, dwarven lineage, that sort of stuff. History of
I wanna
dwarves.
look at Dwarven lineage.
There's like a book series of about 7 books on what on a as far as you can tell, it seems to be about a famous Dragon Ball player. His name is Henry. But yeah.
I'll look at the Dwarvish lineage and see if there's anything there.
Okay, yeah, you flip it open. It seems to be a short list of like the lineages of the different.
Okay, short list or like
Like a short Dwarvish list, or like
like my thing,
for
or
short for dwarves,
so like that.
right? Like maybe like a couple of names. It's not like the full family trees and stuff. It's just a couple of important people. It's got a couple of pages on. It seems to be going over kind of the Cramnell King's line and such. There's a couple of chapters on just the council of. You are not, no. It seems to be a fairly old book. A lot of these Dwarvish books seem to be older.
Would I know this book? Like, would I know people from the book, or?
You know a few. You recognize some of the kings. You guys don't pay. Greymore doesn't pay much attention to the Cramnell actual like kings and such. But you do know a couple of names, and you recognize the names of a couple of the council members that are mentioned from Greymore. But
Oh, I remember Thorbin. Oh, yeah, he was a great fun.
Anything catching my eye?
not too much. There's a small section that details what seems to be a lineage of the Broadmoor dwarves, but it's like a single page long, and it's got like 2 names on it, and the rest is just kind of.
What are the names?
The names. The names are
Are you looking at like your? Are you looking at your randomly generated names? Oh my god.
The names
Yes.
currently held within.
Yes.
Now I gotta pull out Broadmoor. Fuck you for that. You guys went Somerset, not Broadmoor. Why do I have to do this?
Because you brought it up.
There is one that mentions a man called Charn. Yeah, that's Charn.
I am Charn. Hello.
And then there's one who mentions Uher. U-H-E-R.
No one can see my writing mistakes. What is it?
U-H-E-R. And Charn is C-H-A-R-N.
He spelled it right.
Oh my god!
It doesn't speak too much about the second name, but it does mention that Uher, whoever that was at one point a prominent stoneworker, and helped to build the grand city of Broadmoor.
And I wouldn't know them. I wouldn't know them.
You don't know them. No. You've, like, maybe heard of the builders of the grand city of Greymore. Not Greymore, of Broadmoor, but, like, you don't know any of them by name.
Okay.
A lot of that stuff is kind of lost nowadays.
Hey, Shin. Look, this is a great book on, like, dwarves. I know everything in this, so, like...
Is said book in Dwarvish? Shin, like, narrows his eyes and
What?
goes, you know I don't speak Dwarvish, right?
Oh, shit, it's Dwarvish!
Can I take a look at it?
Yeah.
Oh, Tabak, I forgot you were here. Hi.
You kind of make your way over from where you've kind of awkwardly been standing in the doorway while they just kind of immediately flooded into the store. And you take a look at the book. It mentions a couple of the criminal lineages, a couple of the older families in Greymore, the two Broadmoor people, but there's not too much that's up to date.
Is there people from like the Ben Quinn family though?
There is mention of a couple of them, but they're definitely like way back there. Yeah, no. This book looks to be a couple thousand years old.
Sweet.
Oh, then.
Oh, jeez.
Did you read it? Sorry. Charlotte was messaging the group and it's buzzing. I was distracted. Anyway, you should... Hey, I know about Thorben. He's like... great. You know, he once put a poisonous leaf in the headmaster's like coffee. It was good. It's good.
Well then.
Anyway, Shin, what are you reading there? Dwarvish for donks.
Dimwits.
For Dimwits.
Maybe you need an English for Dimwits.
Maybe
Common for
common for
Common for dwarves.
common for dwarves. No, I think the more likely thing is Elven for dwarves, where it's like super simplified.
No, it's like a one-page book, and it's titled Elvish for Dwarves, and it says don't even try.
just fuck off.
Don't bother. And it's in Elvish.
Yeah. So you'd like to have to go to an elf and be like, "What does this say?" And said elf, which have to
says
stop.
don't bother. And he's like, no, but I really want to know what it says. It says don't bother.
It says don't bother.
It legitimately says just don't bother.
Just don't try.
Anyway, what you doing there?
I'm looking at books to
You wanna
learn
speak
Dwarvish.
Why?
I don't fucking know you took it.
Expanding my expertise.
Cool. I'm bored.
What was that noise?
For fuck's sake!
Because you exit out at this point. Just as Baz turns around and yells, I'm
bored."
bored!
Okay. I'm gonna lean against the door and kind of like not like lean against it because I'm afraid it'll like fall in. I like fall in. I'm like, oh
There's a
hey.
sign above the door that says, beware of leaners.
Yeah. No, I just want to like kind of like listen against the door to see if they like say anything.
It's quiet. It's kind of, you can kind of pick out the scraps of the quill on paper, but
I'm guessing the Dwarvish for Dimwits is probably my best book for learning Dwarvish.
unless you can find someone to teach you Dwarvish, or you want to go find a different bookstore.
No, I think I'll stick with this book.
I could help. Not saying that in character, but Tabit could help.
Yeah, but you have the difficulty of getting the drow who hates everyone to not hate you to allow you to teach him Dwarvish without thinking that you're accidentally teaching him how to say but.
Do you hate Baz or Tavik more is the question here.
Bass.
I've seen
495 ways to say butt in Dwarvish. And there's 496 ways to say ass.
No, Tavik would purposely teach you how to swear in Dwarvish to swear at Baz.
Hey, that sounds
Baz
like a
would
good
cry
idea.
tears of joy. Be like, he called me a dumb fuck.
Some kids will like go out to where the rest of them are because she wants to like talk to Shin for a second.
Wait,
Shin and Tavik. She doesn't want to talk to Baz though. She
wait,
wants
so
Shin and Tavik.
Tabik is standing right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Tabik, you know how to speak Dwarvish,
Yes.
right?
That's correct.
This this looks like something I may not be able to do on my own. Could you help me instead?
Yeah.
Great. I closed the book and put it back on the shelf. Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna find. There was something I was looking for, but
Can I? Okay, so wait, have I made my way over to him yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
You cross.
I kind of like grab like Tavik and shit, and I'm like group huddle, and then
You know what? That's fine. I'm going to.
I was gonna say you could probably make like a
You,
roll
like,
to duck
You
underneath.
grab Shin and Tavik and pull them in, not realizing that Baz is crotch level right now, and he's just kind of standing in the center of the huddle.
I thought Bass said he was bored and turned around and
No,
left.
I didn't leave. I just got bored.
He just turned around and yelled, "I'm bored."
okay, I kind of like let go of them for a minute. I go stay. I go down. I pick up Baz. I turn around and I put them back.
Oh, okay.
I turn back and I'm like, okay.
And I try to like sneak my way back in, like between the. What am I rolling for this?
Like athletics, I guess.
I'm just trying to get my way in there.
If you guys could restart the screen share, that'd be nice.
Okay, 1 second. What am I doing?
Athletics.
I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Oh, frick.
13.
Jane. Yeah, like you like squish between
Wait, which
Shin's
one? Why
legs,
is
and like
it
he kicks you for it. Like, you're trying to go between his legs and stuff, and he like just glares at you, so you move over and you go between him and Tavik's legs.
So I'm in the middle again.
Someone else figure this out. I can't do this.
He's back in the middle.
Can I push Baz out of the circle?
I'm back in the middle.
I got a nat 20 to get Baz to leave.
Okay.
It's really odd.
What are we talking here? You like convincing him to leave or just fucking punting him?
Well, if I roll athletics, it's a
It would
26,
be
so...
funny to do like persuasion and be like, Baz, this is girl talk, get out.
Okay. My daughters did this to me too.
Because it just goes.
I'll just do persuasion and say Baz, leave.
She's like, oh, I know along with that. I was like, I'm wearing pink. Sharon is just like black and white.
Not even lying. On the way here.
Shin's gay. Kiss has got boobs. Bras.
Boobs and bras.
Kiss has got bras and boobs. And Tavik makes armor. I guess he could know something.
Not even lying on the way.
Baz has daughters.
On the way here, I was telling Jason that like one of Shin's disguises is he can disguise himself as a woman.
He like lifts up his shirt and it's like this nice lace bra. This is like, oh my god, I have the same one. She like.
Baz gets the underboob. He's like,
No, she like throws up her entire dress. Like, she's just standing there in her dress
This is exactly what our D&D is.
Yeah.
Super intense moments, and then you fuckers.
I'm sorry.
Because it has like matching underwear though.
Baz's like, wow.
Baz, roll me a wisdom save.
Oh no. That's a 4.
Okay. There's a small book on like apple fritter cooking. It's like
Baz
got a
getting red.
glittery cover and stuff, and you're like, ooh, shiny.
Oh.
And you leave the circle to go do that. It's a great.
Baz is like, I used my tongue for that.
Alright, and that's out of the circle.
Okay, great.
How important was it that Baz
Do you
got
want
out
me
of
to
the
actually
circle?
leave, by the way?
No, you're good. I was just okay. Okay. Who do I ask first? Actually, see, Tavik will say no to the original plan, but Shin, he doesn't know a whole lot about that, so.
Huh?
I was gonna say that's a plan that
out
Shin
and
would.
you guys were like,
talk that plan.
Yeah.
That was already decided.
So we're just gonna throw him off a cliff, right?
I was thinking like into an ocean with a brick tied to his foot.
Be careful with the cliff, like dwarves can fly if they try.
Okay, then.
They flap hard enough, they can fly. See, he gets it, because he knows what I'm referencing.
Okay, anyway.
I got
So,
it.
I talked to the lady again. Tavik, there's this girl, she has a lot of books. I don't know. She gave me a small book like this big, and she just said, like, here, if you want to know about it. And I was like, yeah, I want to know about it, because I'm a curious little shit. So I opened it, and then I was in this...
back and like tap Kiz's foot. It smells so good!
Yeah.
Okay,
That's nice, sweetie.
I've had one of these like once that smells like actual apple fritter.
That's nice, honey. Go play with your toys.
I turn and I look, and I point at a book that has, like, a different pastry on it, and I'm like, look, that one smells too!
Oh fuck!
It's on the top shelf.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna start stacking books. Like making a book staircase.
Yeah. No, like the halfling behind the counter like glances up from his book and he's like, and
Okay,
he goes
anyway.
back to his butcher.
And so I'm like, it led me to this weird, like, magical world. There was so much magic. Like, I know when you guys do magic, like, there's, like, that little bit of, like, you can kind of tell that it's magic. But, like, this was, like, magic. Like, this was, like... this was, like, magic. And so, like, I kind of want to just, like, steal the book and kind of figure out what it is, but also at the same time...
You're saying this out loud.
No, I'm whispering. But also, she has this weird crystal ball thing that has a man in it, and he tells her what to do. I don't know how to explain this. It's some weird, like,
This is a weird location.
some weird kink shit. I don't fucking know. But anyway. So, either A, we can talk to her, and Tavik could maybe, like, reason with her or something, because, like, he's, like, really good at, like, talking to people, or, like, I was thinking Shin could just, like, steal shit from me, so...
Do you have money?
Yeah.
How much?
99 silver pieces.
As the snack is about halfway done.
Oh no! I almost dropped my 12 platinum, 39 gold, 72 silver, and 6 copper!
The halfling looks up and like puts a bookmarking, slides it to the thing, and like leans over slightly. Starts to fiddle with the tablecloth and whatever this table.
Do you mean
thing
like
is.
a thing or like a watch yourself thing?
Like he's interested. He's heard money.
I don't think that's quite enough for this kind of a deal. I'm out.
Kiza just, like, looks at Tavik. You gonna help me?
What makes you think I'm good at talking?
Well, you can control Baz. That's kind of a feat in itself.
I just pick him up and don't listen to him.
Well,
I'm
then
not-
pick this lady up and don't listen to her!
Oh my god. Kizza, you could have done that.
Yes.
Oh my god, no.
If she's like really magical, I don't know if that's a good idea. Bass is kind of easy to deal with because he's small. But
Okay, fine. She just throws her hands up in the air and she's like, stupid, useless fucking gays! And she just storms out of the bookstore.
not gay.
Is my tower almost done?
It's finished.
Does the book smell?
You begin to climb. Make me a dex.
Oh god. That's an @1.
Okay, the books begin to
Again?
like tilt back and forth. And you swipe the book off the thing just as they collapse in and you fall into a pile of books. But the book does fall. And you see the halfling goes... And then he, like, gestures to your left slightly, and, like, maybe a foot to your left is a small ladder.
Oh, I'm sorry. I rolled a nat 1.
I walk up to the guy and I give him like a silver and I'm like, for your troubles, sold the house. Why am I whispering all of a sudden? Ah.
Do you want to buy...
That's really bad for audio.
Hi, I'm Basbin.
Oh, no.
I'm the Banquet Running Service of company. Do you have anything interesting? Any services?
Yeah. And he, like, pushes you gently off the table. And he moves his book to his side. And he grabs the tablecloth and goes... And he reveals, like, a small display case underneath with a couple of large scrolls that are detailed finely and tied. Each of them, there's, like, a slight glimmer to some of them. Some of them, like... There's one scroll at the far end that's, like, dripping water. And, like, there's a bucket beneath it. And it's just almost full. It just continues to drip and stuff, but, like, a couple of pretty interesting looking scrolls.
What do these do?
All sorts of things. Magic. Writing.
Writing.
Yeah. Some of them you can write on.
What would it do if you wrote on it?
You could read it later.
I love him! Wow. Read it later is really cool to do. As any magical enchantments if you write on it and read it later?
No. Only the magic ones have magic.
What do the magic ones do?
Depends on which one.
Tell me all of them individually.
And that's where we'll take a break.
And that's where we're
You can tell me off. Oh, thing. No, just.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I have a list of them.
Oh my god.
All right, we will be right back after a short break, guys.
It's almost 2 hours. That's why I was like, stop him.
Yeah, we'll be right back after a short break. Until then.
Ciao.
Anything else?